Welcome to another exciting episode of Adventure Awaits. This is a special edition. We're calling this, I think we're settling on Behind the Adventure right now. And we did this a couple of weeks back. I wasn't able to be here, so we kind of went over the things that happened in the story so far. But now that we've gotten to the end of Eye of the Storm, we wanted to do one more of these to kind of catch up on the things that happened in between these two special episodes and maybe talk about some things, take some questions from the listeners and the players, and then a little look to the future, talk about what we're going to be doing next. So I think first off, we're going to start with, well, hey, everybody else say hi so they know that I'm not here by myself talking.
Hi.
I feel like you should do it by yourself because we all did it without you the last time.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm inclusive.
We'll have like the two polar opposites.
Yeah, so I'm the only one here. No. So we're going to start out with the questions from the listeners. So
all right, well,
Mr. Kevin's going to be reading those.
Yeah, I got some off the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, there's a link on the website. Wow. And the first question from Paul. It's a bit of a cliche, but I'm really interested to know the answer. So for Behind the Adventure, Chris, what were your favorite bits to DM, and what was the hardest thing you found in running this adventure, apart from having to brush Lucky?
Nothing. No, that wasn't hard at all. Yeah, that was my warm-up routine for the adventure. No, thanks, Paul, for the question. I can't really think of like specific things that were easy or difficult to GM. You know, I'm pretty new GM, so that makes a lot of things difficult as far as having to look up, you know, feats and stats and stuff like that. As we've kind of progressed throughout, you know, I'm starting to learn those things a little better, so I don't have to spend quite so much time in that respect. But I think as far as I would answer it as though like the things that were the hardest to GM were just the moments when I felt like, you know, the players maybe weren't like really thrilled about what was going on, or like if I was leading in a direction that, you know, felt contrary to things. Well, more like when I felt like, you know, we were just moving through slow areas of the adventure. Now, the flip side of that is the places that were like the most fun for me was when I could see everybody just on the edge of their seats, like when Lucky and Poe were trying to disable that orb, and everybody was just frozen that moment, like trying to figure out what was going on. And when I saw that, like, that's when it becomes fun. Like when you know your players are like totally invested in that moment, that it's not just another diplomacy check to see where somebody's hiding. Like when they don't know what is going to happen next, that's the parts that I really, really enjoyed DMing. I think another point was right when they defeated Darathek, or when the air elemental picked up Darathek. Like everybody was just so excited, and I was like, that's when, as a GM, like I really start to have fun. So it's not really any specific moment or anything like that. It's just when the players are kicking ass and enjoying it, I love it.
Building on that, when I was running the Halloween episode, it was really rewarding when everybody was starting to get creeped out and like talking about, oh man, that was really creepy kind of stuff. Like, yeah. So just when you actually get an actual emotion out of your players from like a dumb game, like it's really cool.
Right. And yeah. I mean,
the correct emotion.
It's not. It's not that the players are bored so much. It's a lot of times they're really just trying to think about what's going on and figure it out. And then when you see them like actually evoke emotion, like out to where everybody else can see it, that's what. Yeah. I mean, that's the best part of doing it. You know. So, but I will say the hardest part.
Cleave.
Or the fact that he cheats all the fucking time.
Remembering what weapon she has.
Yes. I was going to say, once I brought Magi into the game, that's the part of the game that was the most.
That was easy. All you knew is all you had to do was roll a die. You knew he was going to miss. Right. So like,
I kind of considered just stop, with the die rolling with him, but just having to keep track of that extra character was a pain in the ass. Yeah. So, but
two extra characters because of Argyle.
Well, Argyle actually did.
But everybody liked Argyle,
made it
so
fun.
It was cool. But yeah, so that's. There you go, Paul.
I liked Magi, the character. I hated Magi, like, in combat. Outside of combat, he was great, but you're just like, oh, God.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, I felt really bad for Magi because when I was reading the book and I got the description for the character, I was just sitting there trying to think of like the voice for him, and I was like, he's tired. He's been in here for days. I'm going to kind of go with this, like, really, like, oh, man. And then I toyed with the idea of, like, after you guys rested, to just have him, like, speak with, like, this normal, like, British accent or something.
And then we turned him into a stoner?
Yeah, I mean, he ended up turning his... So, like, I feel, like, bad for him, because, one, he's a low-level character. I told you he was, like, level 3.
Yeah.
So he was completely overmatched. And then the voice that I gave him, like, totally screwed him over. Like, if he would have came in speaking clearly and, you know, not being a big stoner, then he might have been a pretty decent character, but...
I think part of Magi's whole thing was like, I think I started the whole like, oh, he's the stoner thing. So
That's your fault.
I want to apologize for that one.
Well, no, I think it worked out pretty good, but I mean, he just got he was a pretty weak character to begin with, and I just did him in with the accent.
To be honest, I should have or Poe should have become great friends with him because I based out the character off of Brian Posehn, and he's a big pothead. I should have, but I didn't. Kevin, what are you going to do with all the unused Poe jokes?
Burn them.
Burn them.
Well, I got
them in a
some right
garbage
here.
can.
Let's see.
No.
Best delete that fucking document, sir.
Cut this part out.
I mean, I'll just share the document, I guess.
How many did you have left? I mean, actually, how many did you have?
There's like 20.
Oh.
They're all like super short. They're all like if I rolled low.
A lot of times he rolled like under 5.
Yeah.
Because like I'd see him roll.
Right now I have 1 through 5 has none left.
I think you rolled a 1 at one point.
That was the Yo Mama joke.
Oh,
no, I remember that one.
I wish I don't remember
that one.
Yeah.
So
those are gone to time until.
Yeah, I'll post it in the Discord, I guess. Considering he's talked himself into a spin-off show, can Ryan cook?
Oh fuck no, no way.
I know that for a fact because he gets Uber Eats almost every day.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely YouTube channel content, man.
I mean, I want to learn how to cook. Don't get me wrong.
Blue Apron, sponsor us.
Now that we fixed our oven, fuck off. Now that the oven's fixed, I want to learn how to cook, but no, I don't know how.
Okay, follow-up question then. Do you watch Food Network? Because some of the terms you were using was pretty...
Okay, so...
pretty convincing.
My old job, when I used to work at a nursing home, I used to, like, serve out food, and, like, I'd have to go up and clean the tables. So a lot of the times they just have, like, TV on up there, because they watch it while they eat or whatever. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it was, like, morning talk shows, but every so often the Food Network would be up there. So, like, you're just, like, cleaning dishes and, like, cleaning off tables, and you're just, like... Or, like, during, like, they have, like, those food sections during, like, cooking, like, those talk shows or whatever. So that just, by proxy, just absorb all that.
Just kept it banked for this.
I thought it was I'd like to expand on that, like, I really would, but I just don't know where to go with it.
Up. We got nowhere to go but up.
Des, was the book series you got a idea for Evelyn for Throne of Glass?
It was. Yeah, I'm not caught up because that's a ridiculously long series now, but a few years ago I read it. Yeah, I really like the main character. She didn't really live on the streets, but she was an assassin, and she started at a real young age, had a really bad, like, upbringing. She ends up, like, she knows who she is, and she ends up, I don't want to give it away if anyone reads it, but...
But my question is, does she miss as many attacks as Evelyn
No.
did? Okay.
That is the part I was not banking on.
Does she have hands?
So...
No, she doesn't have hands.
But
Did you get a new dice, by the way?
No. I will by the time we
Here,
start.
you can have Ryan's.
Oh, yeah, mine are that much better.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I just really like that character, so although Evelyn didn't really turn out to be a badass, she is.
She had her moments.
Yeah. Remember those hands?
What was it, like 5% of the time, maybe?
Yeah, but I think a lot of what really hurt was...
Hey, that time you unlocked that box, that was...
Nah, it was good.
What was in that? There was like a whole bunch of good stuff.
Yeah.
But I think like what really hurt Evelyn was that -4 every time you were shooting the melee.
Yeah.
Like, once you took the precise shot...
Yeah, but,
But then I had my mischance with Darthek, so...
Yeah. And Darthek had an AC of 23.
Yeah.
he had a really...
It's actually 25.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
I really wish you would have blinded him.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry. It's over now. You can't feel sad.
Yeah, that wouldn't have helped as much as you think, though. It helped a little bit. Because he had blind sight.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that
Damn.
just cancels out the mischance, right?
No, he can basically see
He's like Daredevil.
Yeah, like he's basically Daredevil.
Oh wow!
All right.
But thank you, Mary, for the question.
She had a few more questions.
No, only one.
No.
Next question.
You heard her. He only said only one. Sorry.
Players.
Players.
What part of your character are you going to miss the most?
Do you want me to start?
Go for it.
Because I feel like I have the biggest stake in this.
Someone's full of themselves.
A little bit.
Let me have my moment. As much as I hate it, I'm gonna miss the whole lizard thing. I really am. I really think that as a dumb joke as it started out to be, I think it kind of made some of the moments, like the NPC moments, just kind of funny.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm gonna miss that.
Heck, not just NPC, PC too.
Yeah, PC
Right.
too. Yeah, that was really
PC,
interaction
PC,
with
yeah.
Lucky in the middle of the campaign.
yeah. So.
Des?
Well, see, the thing is
Are you gonna miss anything? You can just say no.
she misses everything.
wow.
Oh, damn.
That was his revenge for you.
That's that kill so burn.
Hey, remember when you interrupted him during our sound check earlier? That was revenge for that.
Yeah, right. It's all right. I
We're
deserved
even
it.
now.
That was brutal. That stays in.
Hey, you just dunked on her.
I mean, I'm gonna miss
The concept of her.
the concept, and maybe if we ever revisit, maybe she'll be a little bit better. So
We should level up, right? From the XP?
Yeah, from killing.
No.
Ah, damn.
We tried. I think Alex is gonna miss all of Lucky, like everything.
Yeah, just Lucky in general is... I'm going to miss all of them. Having all that animalistic, like, instinct kind of thing, like, playing off of not understanding the world he's in, like, a lot of it was fun. So, I'm going to miss all of that.
Yeah, it was a totally unique. He was like different from most other characters from the get-go.
I think
Yeah.
my favorite part, like interaction from like my character in particular with Lucky, was when he was taking the bones of like that, like the remains, because you had to think like he doesn't, because he still has that dog moment of like, oh, there's a bone here. He doesn't know. It was like one of my favorite things. That's shown like, yeah, he's still like a dog.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss pancake stuff, aren't you?
Pancakes. Yeah, that's gonna be great. I don't know. I love the concept of him like playing like music and like singing to inspire his enemy or his friends.
Inspires enemies to run.
You
Yeah.
did inspire our enemies once.
Oh, you did do that.
With Hamsa.
Remember when she?
Yeah.
She charmed you.
I did.
Oh, that was a really fun part to the GM.
No, you answered that question. You can't go back.
But
Retcon.
yeah, that was a really, I don't know.
Get out of my face.
It was a really cool thing I'm gonna miss. Jokes not so much because you guys just made fun of me about them.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Kevin.
come on
That
now.
last set was awesome.
That
I know
last
that
set was
last set was dope.
It's just because most of them were bad.
That's because you rolled horrible.
you rolled horrible.
Yeah, but even the good ones were bad.
What are you talking about? You laughed great. Shut up.
I left it the last.
That
your
last set was probably like the greatest set
was
of jokes
good.
you had.
But I think that's
because you have a terrible sense of humor.
that's what was cool about Poe. Is like he was like trying so hard, and he always failed at the jokes, and he just kept trying. Like that, like kind of endeared Poe's jokes to me.
Yeah, and it was fun playing a dumb guy because I'm a dumb guy.
Okay.
Don't sell yourself short there, my guy.
Method acting.
Yeah.
So does that mean he's sending us?
All right. What was your favorite character to play, Chris?
Oh,
NPC wise.
Damn.
If you say the
That's-
character I think it is, I'm gonna slap you.
Papaya guy.
Oh my god.
No,
I don't know who I hated worse, him or Fat Mario.
this it's kind of a toss-up in a strange way between the sheriff, just because she dealt with so much story, but I really liked Orthok, and he was only in there for a brief amount of time, but there
was awesome.
there was some potential for some really cool stuff, so I really enjoyed the character of Orthok, but I liked how much the sheriff just had to deal with the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fun to. I heard somebody one of the GM videos I watched. They were talking about how they like to be the GM because they felt like they had all of the secrets and it was like a treasure, and they like really enjoyed giving them out. So that's why I like the sheriff.
Not a charity case.
Yes, you are.
She had a second question. She actually has 3 questions. You've all played D&D before. What's hard about adjusting to a recorded version?
I think personally, with my problem was like playing in a room of like with friends with not having like a recorded device in front of you and not having to worry about like making a product. You can kind of like you get away with a lot more, in a sense, because like and like I think. Out of the 5 of us, 4 of us played in a D&D campaign together. Like, you all know, we would get, like, we just say the stupidest shit. And we do here, but
so much racism.
No, not really.
No. All from Ryan.
All from me. No. No, I think it's the getting used to basically, like, playing for an audience.
Yeah.
And for a long, like, for the beginning, that made me, like, the most anxious out of everything. Like, just knowing that people are hearing me play this game, it gave me, like, the weirdest sense of anxiety.
People just stare at you as you walk down the street.
Like, they know.
There he is.
They know my secret.
No, they know I can't talk well.
I think one of the hardest parts was like trying to let the listeners visualize what we're seeing, especially when we're having like a map, and then be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing, but explaining it in a way that makes sense.
Because I think you're just so used to like...
You're just so used to, I go here, and then I attack that guy.
But I think, again, it's like describing like the action of you doing something. Because, normally you don't really do that outside of when you're just playing like alone. You're just like, I'm going to swing this. And you just don't do that. You're just, this is the action and then that's it. But like with a recorded, you have to like,
play it up.
Paint that picture in people's minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the things that were difficult for me to kind of adjust to, one is not hitting the mic stand.
Which
I didn't have that.
Which you still do.
Yeah,
You've
well,
leveled up in that.
It's not as bad.
Hitting the table.
Well, that kind of stopped.
Because you're like a foot away from the table at the moment.
Yeah, I'm forcing myself away from the table.
Didn't you like back up at one point and like just move the mic stand forward so you wouldn't have to hit the table?
Yeah. And then also, I guess it would be when you're playing without an audience in mind, talking over people is not as
a big of an issue.
Yeah, and also I feel I don't have it as much anxiety when we aren't recording. Like actual role playing stuff, I get super nervous at. Just I don't know why.
That.
Yeah,
so
I get that still.
I was super nervous before the final post final set.
Oh really?
Yeah. You think you were nervous? Let me tell you something. Not knowing what Chris had planned from when me and him started talking about that whole ending like months ago, and then him going like I think we talked about it over Discord. I think in like November is when we first got done with that beginning part, and I messaged him saying, "Hey, like." When we end it, I think this would be really cool. So we'd work on it, and then I had a slight idea of it, but what the actual ending part was, I had no idea he was doing that. Yeah. So when he was like, when he started off, I was like, I was like, I have no plan for this, which made it so much better in my opinion, because I had just no idea.
Yeah.
I got blindsided. Like, I was just as surprised as a lot of you people were.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean I loved doing that whole thing, because when you told me that you were interested in doing that, I thought, man, this is going to be like a really cool ending, but then also having the ability to surprise you. That's what I liked about it, because we were able to talk like that, and then you had to discover that moment, not just like, all right, I'm going to just do this.
Yeah.
So it was a moment of discovery too for you. That's
yeah. It was crazy.
The look on your face, and I was sitting there waiting. Because I didn't know which way you were going to go, so it was exciting for me too.
That honestly, the way I ended it, I thought about it for a long time. Like even like the week leading up, I'm just like, how do I want to go? How do I want to go? From Ryan's perspective, no, I wouldn't do it, because me knowing outside of this game, they're an evil. But in Charles's mind, they have all the resources that he could use to protect his home. That's his huge thing. Like, that's his one driving factor. So, yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts of this whole thing.
Did you have any issues, like, adjusting to recording? Or?
Alex is perfect. He doesn't have any issues.
I felt like mostly, and this might sound a little conceited, but mostly it was trying to keep everybody else in the mindset of we're recording for an audio format.
Well,
so, you know, like what Kevin was saying earlier, describe your actions, do this stuff. In the earlier episodes, I feel like a lot of people were getting over nerves. Mm-hmm. So they had a harder time speaking up about what they were doing. A lot of times it resulted in, I do this thing, and I do that, or whatever, and it's not very descriptive, so you don't understand what people are saying.
Do you think streaming helped the both of you get over some of that, though, too?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think, because, like, you guys have that kind of already, like, talking to an audience thing down? Like, down anyway?
I stream at least once a week, and
on Twitch.
Sometimes I'm by myself playing a single-player game, and I'm literally talking to myself.
Yeah, but, like, I still think that part of that helps, because I know you guys, Alex and Kevin, did, like, a podcast a while ago, so you still had some of that experience just recording that, albeit, you know, not like this.
Bad. It was real bad.
But that still helps. You can pull stuff from that. Like, all my talking in front of an audience thing outside of this is, like, playing games or something with, like, a party of people.
Speech class back in high school?
I didn't take it.
You lucky
They
bastard.
took it out as a requirement my freshman year, so I never took it.
Oh my god, I envy you.
Yeah, but, yeah, that's probably, the biggest thing, was just getting over nerves.
Let me jump on.
No.
Piggyback on that question. So, for me, the hardest thing was, aside from the fact that I'm pretty new GM, like I mentioned earlier, it was trying to make sure the players had a chance to do, you know, whatever they wanted to, but also keep in mind that because this is a story for an audience, you've got to kind of keep that cinematic, you know, movie-esque thing going. So you can't just dwell, like, in a scene forever and ever and ever. And a lot of times I didn't know, I wanted to be quiet to let everybody talk. But I didn't want to just let stuff go on and on and on and on, and I never knew when to jump in.
You got to know the balance.
Yeah, so it was hard to figure that out. And then just mechanics-wise, there were some things in the book, like early on, when you guys were doing the crowd control stuff, rebuilding the town or whatever, that called for a lot of rolls and stuff. And when we ran that, I was just going to do all the rolls. And then after the fact, I thought, man, that's just not... You know, if you have to have like 8 successful checks, that doesn't translate into something good. So that's something I kind of learned on, you know, as we went throughout and fixed, you know, corrected as we go. So that's the GM's little 2 cents there.
Speaking of GMs,
oh dear God,
Chris,
no,
also from Mary. What voice are you going to miss doing the most?
I have to go with the popular one, Fat Mario. It just got the most laughs. I mean, he was fun, and I'm sad he wasn't more part of the adventure. A faux Italian accent's just so much fun. So I will, on the flip side of that, the voice that I am not going to miss at all was Gugwa.
Oh, yeah.
I hated that. Like, I picked that for a reason, because it kind of fit the character, but... It was so hard, and I think in the last Behind the Adventure, you said that it was just so hard to understand him, and it was hard to get it out. So as soon as I led with that, I was like 3 words in, I'm like, oh shit.
Do you when you go back and listen, do you just like skip that part?
I do. No. It's painful.
That part is so funny.
It is really funny. Like, it is one of the there is a comedic sense to that, but yeah.
The voice, or you mean like the scene?
Just
like
the scene.
The
scene is hilarious, and that's what sucks, is because there's so many of these good moments like between the characters. And then but when I have a voice like that, it's like, oh, just grin and bear it, man.
Did you mean to do like that Italian accent for that guy?
For Fat Mario?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's not even his name. We just
his name was
Meso.
Meso Barreto. So I was just like, Meso Barreto. There's the voice. And I loved it. I didn't have to think about that one at all.
Oh man.
She's got one final question. What's been the hardest part about DMing/GMing so far?
Not cheating.
Yeah, not cheating. Well, not cheating and have it being skill, because I cheat because I don't know the rules. No, the hardest part about
Secret's out now.
The hardest part about GMing, just in general, or
that's yeah.
Yeah, let's just go for in general. She doesn't specify.
Yeah, it just says what's been the hardest part about DMing for so far.
Just on a lot of these other combats where there's multiple people in it, there when we would sit down for a session and I knew there was role playing, I was always excited about a role playing session. But at the same time, you can go any different direction. So having to think on my feet was difficult, like being able to react to you guys and really give value to what you were saying. So when there was a night that there was just a combat, I knew like, all I got to do is worry about numbers and stats and stuff. But those proved to be like the most difficult thing for me, is just trying to keep the action moving while remembering what 6 different characters are going to do besides the player characters. So I think that's the hardest part.
Well, I'd like to say, I mean, we've mentioned it before. I think you might have said it earlier, the fact that this was the first time you've DM'd anything.
Yeah.
Like, stepping into your first time DMing, A, in front of an audience, and B, with the restriction of we have to do this
every so often.
Well, it's in an audio format. Like, people aren't going to see all the stuff that we do. Like, I think you've done, like, an amazing job.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, guys.
So
that's the only compliment you're getting from me ever.
Don't expect it until the next Behind the Adventure.
Exactly.
At the end of the AP.
Yeah, at the end of Starfinder.
The very end, yes.
And whenever that's going to be.
Well, yeah, honestly, I've been like really impressed with how much work and reading and studying and stuff you've done for it. It keeps it interesting because you know a lot if we have questions. So
nerd.
Nerd alert.
I love it though. I mean, I love exploring, like, just having that foundational knowledge of the world, and like I said, anytime we get to that role playing moment, I love it, even though it is stressful because you never know where they're going to go.
I love role playing more than combat, but have you ever did you ever have something prepared and that we just said, we're going to go do this, and you're like, I didn't prepare for this?
Like anything at all, like role playing or combat?
Yeah, either or. Like, say like we start an episode and you have all this stuff prepared and you're like, all right, like this all happens if this happens, and say like one of us does something completely different and it changes the whole thing. You're just like, oh god, what do I do?
Well, early on there was a lot of that, and I was fighting that whole urge to, like, you know, play it like a video game. Like, you guys would want to go
revert
one direction.
My quick save.
Yeah, but seriously, like there was a part where I prepped one night for 2 specific encounters, and I was like, I'm pretty sure they're going to go this way. This is, you know, so I got these 2 things to choose from. You guys went 180 degrees the other direction, and I'm like, and I'm still a new GM, so I'm looking up the feats and the spells, and I'm not ready for this part. So I mean, that happened more often than not, but you know, that's the way it is being a GM. Every GM knows that.
I have a question for the other 3 people outside of you. Do you guys prefer roleplay or combat? Because I prefer roleplay.
I prefer combat.
Just because I love improving stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I personally do better roleplaying than combat.
I don't know. I just like...
You like hitting stuff. It's okay. You can say it.
Yeah, I like hitting stuff.
I mean, in a game like this, there's appeal on both sides.
Oh, definitely.
Because you can be the kind of person that just likes to roll dice.
Yeah.
Or you can be the kind of person that likes to be another person. So, I think, personally, I like the roleplay aspect better, because dice rolling only gets you so far. And you can build a character 1,000 different ways, but ultimately you're doing the same thing most of the time. Yeah. So it's like the character relationships are the constant change.
Like, anytime like Lucky and Charles had like an interaction, I always get really giddy and excited to do it because it was just so fun to do.
Yeah, the first time we had the tense moment where Lucky got jealous of you saying, like, the only person I've ever loved is going to die, or whatever.
That was great.
That I just was like, it kind of sparked that thought of, like, well, I think Lucky's kind of jealous of that because he thought they were, like, really good friends at that point.
Yeah.
And, but, it just kind of came out of nothing, and then it was a thing in the story, so...
I just love that improv factor of, like, role-playing. I really love that. Like, the whole thinking on your feet to try to come up with a response is one of my favorite. Like, that whole thing with Evelyn, like, running out of combat. and like Charles getting really pissed about it. I really wasn't going to do anything about it, but I'm like, what a shitty thing to do. I'm going to be mad about this. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure you like combat better.
you know, if I could actually land some hits.
Can that be the subtitle of this episode? Behind or title, Evelyn can't hit shit.
Right. That could be the subtitle of every episode, though. But yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards I enjoy combat more, but I definitely find the appeal in role-playing more, and I want to work on that. But I'm just always so nervous when it comes to that, and I don't know what to do.
Well, I think there was another part, like, about your character in specific that you even told us that you didn't want to reveal a lot of, like, your background anyway.
Right.
So for that instance, that makes a lot of roleplay hard.
Yeah.
So.
That definitely was probably a bad choice, seeing as, yeah, we're trying to do more roleplay stuff, so. Anyway.
Alrighty. Paul again. Is there anything anyone put in their character backgrounds we didn't find out?
I'd say there's probably a lot.
I think I already mentioned
And
mine.
you're not going to find out.
I already mentioned mine in the last bit in the adventure.
So. Nah, Charles, like, really, I don't... Well, the way I've been doing my characters, like, for this and my Starfinder character, I don't really like having the whole... Like, I get having the whole, like, tragic backstory thing or, like, secrets. That's not really, like, my kind of... Like, that's my cup of tea. I prefer to have a very, like, simplistic, open backstory that I don't have to, like, hide and,
You can
like...
fill in as we play.
Yeah, like, it... Well, not really, like, fill in a sense, sure, but, like, with Charles, like, there wasn't any, like, tragic something or this. It was just... He just grew up and did what he wanted to do. Like,
what led to his love of lizards?
I mean... I don't know.
It's a distraction tactic in combat.
It was a distraction. Exactly.
Right.
That's how it started. That's what he told himself in his mind. And as time went on, he realized it was something more. But nah, it's just I like that, like, more of a easier backstory. So I'm not like worrying about, like, there's a lot of detail I have to remember, and that's just maybe on me, but that's just how I prefer it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, I don't think Evelyn really revealed it, but I've mentioned before, I mean, her parents and, like, the whole, like, I guess village that she lived in as a child were, like, slaughtered, and she was the only one left alive, so,
She was a sand person. I get it.
Not just the men,
But the
women
and the children too. I slaughtered them all like animals.
But, like, I mean, going off of who I based her off of, like, I imagined her just living on the streets for a while. Finally, like, she just does, like, as she gets older, she kind of gets hired to, like, basically kill people here and there. And that's what she did to survive. I guess this didn't come out after a while. She kind of started realizing, you know, this isn't what my parents would want me to be doing. I want to do more good in the world.
They'd rather have me cut hands off.
I want to do more good in the world. And if that so happens to be cutting off body parts of bad people, that's fine. But you didn't mention anything about your backstory just now, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I feel like as I was talking, it really...
I think everyone's most interested in Lucky's backstory.
Anyway. Yeah. Anybody's mostly interested in Lucky's
Which
character.
are you?
Yeah. Which we have... Yeah, I thought we would have found out more soon, but I...
Yeah, it was hard to have something come up naturally in the story.
Without
Like,
someone asking, like, directly.
And then given the fact that Lucky was reserved about talking about it, because I'd say it's a pretty traumatic experience.
Well, that's why I had Argyle come up and talk to you, because I thought he would be...
Yeah.
be able to get you to talk about it. So.
I actually had someone... They started listening to the podcast, and they came to one of my Twitch streams, and they're like, so how is Lucky sentient? Is he, like, a human in a dog body, or is it?
He's just a dude in like a dog costume, like where like the face pops out, like the neck of the dog is, and we just thought he was a dog the whole time. He's like bark. Like,
so the short of it is, Lucky was just a regular dog. He had an owner, like you said in the story, and he kind of, like a dog, he got overzealous and ran away from home accidentally chasing some animal. I never actually officially wrote down this story, but I've always had it in my head how it would go. But he ended up heading into town around, like, I think he said it was Eladir is the closest port town.
Mm-hmm.
And just happened to somehow stumble upon, like, this cult that was performing some sort of ritual down in, like, a basement somewhere. Yeah, Lucky just kind of came in, being a dog. He didn't know what was going on, so he's just like checking out all the smells and all the sights and just taking everything in, and then all of a sudden he has to pee, so he finds the nearest spot that he likes and he starts peeing, but it ended up being like a holy symbol or like a relic or something that was instrumental in this ritual. So whatever entity that these cultists were worshipping just used its power to bestow sentience into Lucky, to use him as like an agent of chaos in the world. And so that's why his personality was all over the place. Like, he was very nice one minute, kind of aggressive the next minute. Like, he just was a very out there kind of character, and that's why I loved him so much.
Yeah, didn't you at one point mention, like, kind of hints that maybe he would start to head towards like an evil side? Not necessarily evil, but
I kind of tried to plant the seeds that, like, there was a darkness in him. And, so, like, something might happen about that. But it never came up, so.
So, next question is from Adam from the Halloween episode. Will there be more holiday episodes?
I mean, outside of, like, what, 2 or 3 holidays, like, what else really could you do?
Well, I thought I was going to say we're going to do a St. Patrick's Day holiday.
Where we all get super smashed and try to record Pathfinder? I'm down for that.
It's just you guys hanging out with Sky Brew, drinking some brews, man.
I mean...
Can someone delete that?
I'll delete you.
Oh. I mean...
User deleted.
I would like to have other specials, whether they're holiday or not. But I mean... Yeah, there's only like so many holidays we can do this for, I guess. But I mean, I don't think
also
it's
time,
right.
Well, yeah, holidays are a big family thing. So when are you going to get together and record an episode?
Yeah. I hope that. I mean, the answer is that I hope that we do, because it. At first, I didn't really like taking a break from the story that we were on, but it is cool to just take a glimpse of these characters in a totally different scene, basically. And of course, I got a chance to play.
Yeah, what Chris means, he just wants to play and not GM. He's not worried about it.
I mean, we have like a semi-strict recording schedule, which kind of makes things tough, because we have so few days that we can actually sit down to record episodes. So when we can fit them in, I would love to do more, but it's also a matter of I have to come up with stuff.
Like prepare it.
Yeah, and we have to plan out stuff ahead of time, release schedule and such, so.
So I think a safe answer is maybe.
Pretty safe answer.
We're in doubt.
Adam with one more question. He says, how many more accents can Chris do?
None. I couldn't do any at all. They were all floating accents that drifted from one thing to another.
They're all super stereotypical accents.
Yeah. No, I mean, I really, like, the only accents I've ever really, like, worked on, I've got an accent book at home that I got when I was in high school, and I thought it was just going to be really cool because I would just buy this book and instantly be able to do all of these accents. And then when I found out there was a ton of work involved, the book went on the shelf for like 10 years. So when
It's still there?
It's still there. But I actually started working on an Irish accent first because I do voiceover work online, and I've actually had a lot of people pay me some money to do this fake Irish accent.
Nice.
So once I started getting paid for that
brag.
stuff... Yeah, well, I had some guy from, like, Ireland message me, and he's like, hey, that's not an Irish accent. And I, like, replied to him, and I was like, Mama lied! He said, don't worry, man. He said, I can't do an American accent worth shit. But So, I mean, really only Irish and like a German accent have I really actually practiced. Everything else is just, whatever sounds good. So, I don't know. You'll just have to listen to the podcast and count yourself, Adam.
I'd like to see
that requires math, though. So.
Yeah, how many are we at right now?
I want to see your accents for Starfinder, because I'm pretty sure those aren't going to be a thing.
I can't wait till you have to do a bug accent.
Oh, God. He'll bring back,
Google's
voice.
Yeah, no, really, I'm just going to port all of the Eye of the Storm accents over that, so I don't have to do any more work on that.
That's shoddy there, Chris. I expect the best.
Budget cuts.
Ain't that it?
And that's it for questions.
Okay, so that's going to wrap up the listener questions. So now we're opening the table up for any player questions that you guys may have, like things that only the GM would know.
So there's a few story questions I have. I started re-listening just to kind of catch up on some of the older stuff, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff we skipped over because we didn't quite grasp it. One of the more recent things was the whole storyline with Chitali, the Stormkindlers, because there was a lot of reference to him, I'd say about halfway through the adventure.
Yeah.
And then we eventually had to fight some version of him. I don't know what that was because it was mainly described as a green thing.
Oh, yeah, the Wraith.
That's all you need to know.
Now known as the Great Green Thing we fought.
But what's a little bit of backstory? Because obviously he deceived the Stormkindlers and they all died, but...
Yeah, so Chitali, this was probably like 100 years before Eye of the Storm takes place. There was a group of Stormkindlers that went to the Eye of Bendigo, which is further north from Priden's Hearth, and they were just going there to worship the symbol of Gazra, which is the wind and the storms. Well, Chitali and a group of followers decided that they wanted to not just watch the storm, they wanted to harness that power. So when they started talking about ways to do this, everybody else looked at them as heretics and kicked them out of the tribe. Well, they weren't done. They decided to go south and find a place where they could continue their work. And where they ended up was in the area of Priden's Hearth. They had a camp, which you guys came to, where they set up. And then they eventually found the site where they built the temple, the Sky Tempest Temple. And Chitali was the one. Chitali was basically what Dorothek is now. Okay. He was the leader. He was using his followers and deceiving most of them to get what he needed. And he had a secret inner circle of people that actually knew what he was trying to do. And so he had started to get the storm churning. And then when the other people outside of his inner circle found out, they actually came down and they smashed one of the orbs, which is where the Lady Jin, she now occupied that space. And eventually... Chitali ended up killing a lot of them, but he eventually was killed himself, and he became the Wraith, which was the green thing that you were fighting. So Dorothek, when the lizard people came to this area just to find a home to live in, Dorothek found this stuff. He was actually born in the temple. They came down south. The lizard folk came down south. They would lay their eggs there. And there was just this energy that seeped into his eggs. Yeah, all the other eggs that were laid, like they died, except for Dorothek's, and that he kind of like absorbed this magical energy. Yeah, so that's why he was different. He was like this blend of lizard folk and elemental.
Gotcha.
And so he met Chitali studying the temple, and they agreed to resume work. Chitali, the only reason he wanted to do it was because he felt if he fulfilled his destiny, then he could get the hell out and go to the afterlife.
Yeah.
Huh. As a green thing.
As a green thing.
What was there an option to go? Because there was the lizards were like there was like
the boggarts.
Yeah, the boggarts. What was the deal? Could we have like gone there at some point?
No. In this adventure, it wasn't really written in.
Oh, okay.
It suggests at the end of the book that that's something that you guys could do if we wanted to continue the adventure.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Not Poe.
Not Poe.
No, not Poe.
Oh, yeah.
He go.
Yeah.
We'll call him.
What was that? The lady
We didn't get
Shafa?
No, the
one
the
she
one
caught the hands off. That no.
that I
Almost.
wanted to cut.
Reservas?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
prisoner that we took.
Yeah.
That Lucky and I tried to do good cop, bad cop, and it turned to like good cop, bad cop, worst cop.
Yeah. Were we ever going to be able to get through to her and actually like get information?
It was possible. Yeah,
Really?
it's just you had to be
We
able to...
rolled-
yeah,
we rolled
the intimidation
garbage.
roll was just...
I think I rolled a
not
1.
there. I don't know, like, that she would have been, like... she probably would have given you as little as possible because she's one of the higher ups. She was Darthek's, like, right-hand person.
That was my next
So
question.
it would have been very difficult to break her.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
that either.
Okay.
Yeah, she actually helped with the storm kindling ritual. So that's why the night that she came to town, there was like lightning strikes all around her
Gotcha.
because she had some of that energy about her.
Okay.
Huh.
Also, the guy that was it Alex and Ryan that tried to get out of his house, or no, Alex and Kevin.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poe and Lucky tried
Yeah.
to get the guy in Island Town.
Yeah.
Did he die?
Is he dead?
Ahmad.
Yeah, I never got to... I briefly touched on this in the story, and you guys kind of like overlooked it. There was one point when you went to talk to the sheriff
She
after
said
you
Island
returned.
town was flooded.
Even before that.
Oh.
Before that, I think is when you came back from the... well, it would have been... I'm not sure at what point, but you guys come back and you go into the office and she's staring at this box. And that was his things.
Oh.
And so if you guys had asked if there had been opportunity, yeah, he was the only one. Yeah, he died.
Okay.
Oh man.
Rip.
I told him.
And we told him that. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, he was willing to die for it, so.
So, yeah.
What do you want?
Okay. Just wondering.
What were when we went to the fort for the first time? You said like these huge lizard tracks or whatever. Like what was that?
So those Rezavas and her minions, they're the ones who broke into the fort.
Okay.
There were some clues I don't think ever were uncovered because she was a druid. She was able to cast like frost spells, and there was like signs of frost places. But anyway, that I digress. The big tracks that you saw, they used, I forget what the name of the lizard was, but it was just a big dinosaur animal. Not even part of their part. They like found it in the woods and used it to ram through the gates.
Okay.
Oh.
And then it was like really dizzy and probably passed out, and then it woke up later on and just walked off.
Okay.
But if I remember correctly, you guys like kind of tied that to that was Rezavas, like because of the way we described. Like I didn't really describe the size of the feet, so then you guys kind of later on made a connection, like, oh, that must have been Rezavas. So it would have worked out though. So
Okay. Yeah.
So was there a chance that we'd ever run into that thing?
I thought about it, but it was a pretty high CR at the time,
Yeah.
and then by the time you guys got up to that level, it was a moot point.
Yeah.
I felt like.
What about that troll that we ended up fighting in the town? Like whatever. Like
He just ran away.
yeah.
right?
Well,
Yeah, so she just lives in the forest, and actually she had been terrorizing Count Narcissus. She had just killed one of his friends like a week or so before you guys arrived, which is why you didn't see him for so long in the beginning. He was hiding because he was afraid to come out. And so once the storm hit, she's like, well, this is my chance to go in there and get some shiny things. And she went in there to get those things. Well, you guys... I can't remember if you killed her or just
No,
chased her.
she
You chased her
ran-
out.
She ran
So
away.
the idea was that if you guys didn't kill her, then you could have encountered her later on.
but like it always struck me as odd how we're fighting like these lizards and all this, and there's just a troll here. Like it,
Yeah.
it just felt so out of like.
Left
Yeah,
foot.
out of left field.
she wasn't part of the lizard folk at all. She just lived in the woods and terrorized the town every now and then just because she likes to collect treasures.
Huh. Interesting.
Any questions for each other?
What made you decide to make Poe leave? Like, what was why was that how you ran that?
Well, he's from up north, and I was like, he's gonna, like, from the way Chris described it, it seemed like it was like a warmer weather climate, and he's like, he's not gonna like this. Like, he's gonna hate this if he lives here. So I was like, yeah, he's totally gonna, like, he needs to go find somewhere where it's like more his style. Sort of similar to the guy from Game of Thrones that I compared it to. Like, if he would go down to like
A warmer area.
A warmer area in Game of Thrones?
It'd be terrible.
There's no spoilers.
Okay. I've only seen up to season 3, so I covered my ears.
I was like, he stopped talking. I was looking at him. I'm like, why did he stop talking?
But yeah, there's that kind of concept. Like,
okay.
He wouldn't want to stay down here.
He dies.
Yeah. He would die from heat.
He falls into the water on the way back to Built. And
all the fish die.
All the fish die.
It makes the water undrinkable for years and years.
The fishermen get angry and capture him and kill him.
He's already dead, so.
Yep. They kill him.
We killed him. Just like you, we killed you when you weren't here last time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you meant to actually say this as a joke, but I like the fact that it got brought up that he's going on tour because he had one really good night. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be famous.
I hope when we come back to
like,
these characters, he's really famous.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
No.
Like he'll come back like he's dressed up like the nicest like gear and he has like all this gold and he's like, my comedy hit it big up north.
In my the character sheet, it says he's wearing entertainer's gear or clothes or something like that.
Yeah.
He's just wearing a jester's outfit.
He's wearing a furry costume.
No.
Some people find that entertaining.
Yeah.
That's why there's a whole subculture about it.
Well, I am not one of them.
No,
Yeah, but Poe is.
Just like, Des doesn't cut hands off. Evelyn cuts hands off.
That's right. That's
For now.
right.
For now, yeah. Alex, watch out.
Yeah.
Alex is
Only
gonna make
Evelyn.
Alex is gonna make one wrong comment, and we're gonna come to record. And he's not gonna have any hands.
Any other questions? Anybody?
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm good.
Chris, anything else you want to ask us?
I'll just to kind of answer the unspoken question earlier. There was only one major part that was missed that there was 2 things that were missed that I really wish would have happened. There was an opportunity for you guys while you're investigating who was behind the attacks to go to this tar pit, and there you find a group of lizard folk that were actually exiled from Darthek's circle because they stood up for Pride and Earth and said this is a crazy idea. And when you encounter them, the leader is actually fighting this huge dinosaur.
Oh, God.
And
It's like Monster Hunter.
I kind of feel like I know which way you guys would have went with it, but there was every opportunity for you just stand there and watch and wait, see what happens, or you could join in and attack her or attack the dinosaur. But because it was potentially a 3-team battle there at that point, I thought that would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
And just to meet a friendly lizard folk early on would have been kind of cool. It would have made it more ambiguous. How do we approach these guys? Yeah. And then the other part was kind of a minor thing, but it was actually with Orthok. When I read this adventure, what was it? Back in April, I think. Yeah, it was really long time ago. If you guys had met Orthok first before you met Shatva, he actually was going to challenge you guys to a wrestling match. And I couldn't decide if I wanted it to be one-on-one or all of you. But yeah, it was really cool, and I kept thinking this would be perfect for Poe or Charles, and I was hoping that would have panned out just because
I think you mean Lucky.
Yeah, Lucky.
Yeah,
just because at the time though, just without knowing anything about the characters, just your builds, I was that would be really cool to have this wrestling match in the middle of it. But anyway,
I can see Lucky just running up and just taking this thing down.
Yeah, after the fact, after the role playing, it's yeah, Lucky.
Lucky's just for everything. Let's just keep him for.
So you're talking about the guy that roomed close to the cells, right?
Yeah, who brought you Magi.
Yeah, I feel like if anyone was going to run into him first, it was going to be me, but then I stayed in that room, and I would have been horrible at some kind of wrestling match with him.
Well, the thing is, since you didn't... If you would have met him first, he's friendly. He was actually the leader of the lizard folk until Shatva bested him in a wrestling match not too long ago. So everybody was following Shatva, but they all had a lot of respect for Orthok. Mm-hmm. And Shatva didn't like that, but she had to deal with it because if she would have done anything to him, it would have pissed off a lot of people. So if you met him first, he would actually challenge you to a friendly wrestling match. And then win or lose, he would have escorted you and spoke on your behalf. But if you win, there was a pretty sweet treasure you could have got.
Cool.
Which was?
It was like a belt of strength.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'd have to fight you for it.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was +2 or +4, but it was pretty sweet.
Oh, man.
Man. That would have been dope.
Give it to Lucky. He just walks around.
Just muscles popping out of his...
Boom, boom. Firepower.
So anyway, so that's kind of like we're taking one last little look there. And as far as any future plans with this gang, there's a possibility that we come back and revisit them. That's why we ended the story the way that we did. So we'll see kind of like what might happen, maybe as a special, like who Adam was asking about. So a no holiday special. So now we kind of want to just talk about future plans for the podcast. We are turning our eyes towards the future.
Towards the stars.
Towards the stars.
It's the future, Marty. It's your kids.
It's your kids. She's dating a lizard, Marty.
Oh my goodness, we're putting that in the story. Yeah, we're going to be playing Starfinder. We've been pretty excited about this ever since we started Eye of the Storm. So the plans right now, though, are that we are not going to jump right into the Dead Suns AP. We are going to do a Starfinder Society. It's actually the free Starfinder Society mission that they offer on Paizo's website. It's called Into the Unknown. It's a series of 5 short episodes. They're all connected together, and we're going to be playing some of the pre-gen characters just to give us a chance to kind of learn the rules a little bit so that we're not fumbling through them quite as much when we're doing Dead Suns. So I'm not sure exactly how we're going to air those, if we're going to do those like 1 or 2 a week, but there's a total of 5, and we'll be putting those out over the next couple of weeks. Then after that, we're going to get right into the Dead Suns AP, first book, Incident at Absalom Station, and we'll be bringing our new characters in that you guys can all fall in love with. And
hopefully you like mine.
I don't like yours already.
I think I'm going to like
you
yours.
suck.
I feel like your character in particular is going to get us into a lot of trouble trying to like...
I think her character is going to get us out of a lot of trouble.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
If she does her job right, yeah, technically
she does her job right.
I'm sure. That's disgusting.
So we'll get those. So once we get to that point, we'll get those character sheets put up. Probably after a couple of sessions.
Put up the Pathfinder ones.
Yes,
too.
we will get the Pathfinder ones up there for you eventually. So make sure you check out that website as we continue to build this podcast. We're also considering doing a Patreon, so we're not quite sure where we're going to go with that yet, but we want you guys to be aware of that and be looking for that in the future. We'll be posting updates and stuff on our Facebook page and Twitter as well. So but I think that's pretty much it. Just want to thank everybody for supporting the podcast and getting the word out there, letting your friends know. Every time we pick up new listeners, it's a tribute to you, the listeners, letting people know. So we really appreciate it, and we want to keep doing this. So also want to give a shout out to Superfan Paul, and give a shout out to the other people we got questions from tonight, Adam and Mary, and I can't think of any more. So
I don't think there was any more.
But yeah, we greatly appreciate you guys tuning in every week and stick with us. Is there anything else anybody want to say before we go?
One last thing. Mary, I know you're going to listen to this. You're not finding out what my Starfinder character is until the episode airs. So stop asking me. Every time she's like, what's your character? I'm not telling you. You have to listen like everybody else. It's not fair.
It's a lizard.
Kevin!
It's a lizard that blows humans.
All right, we'll see you all next week.
Damn it, you guys gave it away! Hey guys, make sure to check out our website at adventureawaitspod.com. There you can find links to our Facebook and Twitter and keep up to date when we release new episodes. Also on our Discord, I'd really love it if you could just send me lizard pics. That'd be great.